Hey, today I want to talk about a 1977 American film called Rolling Thunder. This film is actually comes highly recommended by Quentin Tarantino. I recently heard his podcast with Edgar Wright, and there he praised this film a lot as it is a revenge film, which I think is like Quentin's most favorite genre. So, as this film is directed in 1977, and you can already guess 1977 is the year that Star Wars released. So everything was just Star Wars, and I don't know how many people actually watched this film or what kind of fan base it had back then or how many fanfare it received. But it still doesn't have any fanfare, I think, because I don't think this film is a cult classic. Even though some people and people like Quentin who would be talking about this film here and there, and he loves this film so much that he actually has a production called Rolling Thunder Productions, where he produces film. But I don't think in the end this is a very famous film. So I wanted to check this out and see how this is going. Now, being a 1977 film, I had my skepticisms and I had my reservation, and I also went in with an open mind because I knew how that era was. Now, the main character is actually played by William Devane, and right off the bat, I think this guy might be the unluckiest guy on planet. First of all, I think he was in Vietnam, and there he was captured and tortured for I think 7 years. Then he comes back home. Then his wife had moved on and wants a divorce with him, which he doesn't want to give, and he's becoming estranged from his son. And then some guys actually come for some things that actually the city gifted to him, and they want that, and just everything will hell's break loose. So I don't think one good thing happens to William Devane in this film. So this is kind of a odd choice, but I think this film, I don't know if pioneered, but actually stands in a long tradition of angry young men or stoic men who gets revenge or those kind of things, because his character reminded me a lot about in Ryan Gosling's character in Driver. They have a same mannerisms and how they talk or how they walk or how they are just going about and what kind of character they're establishing. I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think his character might actually be influenced by William Devane's character Charles Rain in this film. Now, as far as the plot goes, it's actually quite simple. It's a revenge film, so that's how it's going to transpire. And Tommy Lee Jones also is also the film, and he's sort of like his second in command who was also in Vietnam, and now he's gonna come help him in the last act. Now, I've seen a lot of thing about the films in this era is that films, their acts are not so equally balanced, because I'm like, the last act or the last big fight or last big hazard that's been that's going to happen in this film, and I see that there's only 6 minutes left in this film, so that's quite weird. But that doesn't mean it's not a good thing, or just not doesn't have to do with anything. But I think that the modern way of films where we have enough time to build a plot or build the third act, it didn't work that back then. And this film is directed by John Flynn, and a lot of things that they did back then would not have been done like this today, and I think I appreciate it because a lot of the violence is actually not seen. The character Charles Rain, he's so traumatized of these events that he had to endure in 7 years in Vietnam. I think he has become completely shut off and detached from anything, and he also acknowledges it, and he's just very stoic and don't talk about it at all. And on the other hand, the events that happen to him, he doesn't emote a lot. So sometimes the audience, we're not exactly sure what's going on with this plot and where this is going. And I'm not gonna spoil it, but at a certain point, I wasn't even 100% sure like what actually happened when the goons actually attacked him or came to his home. So there's also a lot of that, and they try to emulate things a lot by just doing things rather than saying things, which can be a good thing or a bad thing how you look at it. But for me, I think in this film it actually works. Now, as far as being a favorite film, I know what Quentin likes it and what he's thinking about it, but I don't think nobody can like this film that much just solely on the merit of this film. I think he likes the idea and the execution of this film, but not how this whole film goes. So for that reason, I think this film is a solid film, but nothing to rave about, and I don't think a lot of conventional audience would actually like it. So that's why I gave this film 3 out of 5. Now, one last thing I would say about it, in the last fight, Tommy Lee Jones tries to fight some goons and try to go to the room, and then he says, "Adios, boys," and he starts shooting, and then one henchman actually attacks at him, and then he just takes his knife and just uh, kills this guy with just such a ferocity, and then throws away that knife. That is an excellent film. I actually saw this scene twice right there. I don't know why I like this film, but I think I like the choreography of this film, and I think that's just a fun thing to mention. Even if you don't want to see the film, I think you can watch this scene. That scene is actually quite nice.